Top 10 highest grossing movies of all time. Hello YouTube fam, welcome back to the Top 10s. I hope you all are doing well. This video is about a different talking, and you are surely going to like this video. Keep watching until the end. Are you a movie junkie? If yes, then this video is for you. As an increasing number of films find global audience, their box office totals just compound, and rankings of these totals are ever changing, as blockbusters are both predictable, such as the Avengers franchise, and when some unexpected movies are released, but they become great hits. So today we're going to encounter the top 10 highest grossing movies of all time. But first, subscribe to this channel, it's just one click away. With that said, let's begin the countdown. Number 10. Avengers Age of Ultron. The second Avengers film was warmly received when it initially arrived, but then suffered a bit of immediate blowback, with many superhero genre geeks asserting themselves that although it was undeniably an entertaining film, it represented something of a step back from the Joss Whedon's record-smashing original. It marked $1.41 billion at the box office. Even if it can't quite match it and occasionally feels like a bridge towards the next Avengers story, there is still a whole lot to enjoy in this action-packed yard. James Spader excels as the voice of the godlike Ultron, a wonderfully arrogant, immature AI character who is only undermined by plot rather than performance. Ultimately, though, we may remember the Age of Ultron more for the storyline fallout it helped generate in the MCU, as Tony Stark's guilt at creating Ultron is instrumental in driving his position in the fabulous Civil War. Number 9. Furious 7. Watching the 7th installment of the adrenaline-fueled Fast and Furious franchise, one gets the distinct impression that when faced with a creative choice, for a series of films that has been a continual escalation in physics-defying stunts, Furious 7 takes it to an entirely new level. The result is a damn lot of fun. Furious 7 is a part revenge thriller, part daring heist, and more than a little of a loving goodbye to a dear friend. Franchise star Paul Walker died in a car crash before filming was complete, and both his life and death loom large over the movie. As his character, Brian O'Connor, experiences one harrowing escapade after another, you wait for the moment where he meets his end. It feels inevitable and waiting around every corner. The movie is also a celebration of his life. There's much talk about family in the Furious films. The gang's been picking up strays and bringing them into the fold since day one. The chemistry between the cast is undeniable, and it's easy to see how everyone involved enjoys themselves. It marked $1.52 billion in the box office. Number 8. The Avengers. Nestled amongst the gaudy box office numbers of Joss Whedon's blockbuster is a much simpler achievement. Yes, The Avengers should evoke a deserved appreciation of Whedon's dictatorial skills. And yes, the film's release and reception make for a natural, and that's when it was official, moment that the MCU took over Hollywood. But for comic book fans especially, The Avengers represents the first instance of the superhero team dynamic truly captured and sustained on film. Even though the X-Men and the Fantastic Four had received big screen treatment, those films were all still pretty static. The interaction between both heroes and villains was slow, separate vignettes rather than two-way, three-way, or more-way battles. It is one of the highest grossing movies, worth $1.52 billion. Number 7. The Lion King. The Lion King feels less like a more realistic version of the classic animated original, with a box office of $1.6 billion. The new Disney trend of making live-action versions of their animated catalog live-action, of course, being the exact wrong term for what this is. It can have a purpose behind the obvious profitability of reviving an existing brand name if its goal is to conjure the spirit of the original rather than artificially reinflate its corpse. David Lowery's Pete Dragon wasn't perfect, but it felt like a fond cover rather than, well, taxidermy? That's what the new Lion King feels like. It feels like taxidermy. It feels like computers attempting to impersonate real life and doing so with such rigid, determined accuracy that the result feels both emotionless and even a little ghoulish. What exactly are these creatures? The movie is dutifully mounted, and Favreau brings the same dogged professionalism he brought to The Jungle Book, a film with many of the same problems as this film. It does its job all too well. Number 6. Jurassic World. Jurassic World marks the 4th entry in its paleontological franchise, but it's probably more important as the second chapter in the story of Chris Pratt's unexpected ascent to movie stardom. Pratt, seemingly born to make a career out of playing lovable doofuses, made his goofy tenor work for him in Guardians of the Galaxy. With Jurassic World, he shed that skin almost entirely in favor of aping the hard-jawed macho man of the 1950s B-movie canon. That transformation lends the film inevitably. It hit the box office with $1.67 billion. Number 5. Avengers Infinity War. Avengers Infinity War is epic in a way that has been often inspired to but never fully grasped when it comes to the translation from comic book panel to the big screen. It is worth $2.05 billion. It's what happens when movie makers take their source material seriously, eschewing unnecessary melodrama even as they fully embrace the grandeur, the sheer spectacle of it all. And if there's one lesson Disney has learned, it's that if you focus on the viewer experience, the product lines will take care of themselves. Number 4. Star Wars: The Force Awakens. The Force Awakens was a remedy to the near-terminal prequelitis of fans. J.J. Abrams and company accomplished this act of restorative cinema primarily through a return to the dirty future aesthetic that made the original trilogy feel so real no matter how absurd the dialogue being delivered by the characters. That's not to say CGI is lacking, but whereas budget and technology constraints helped the first 3 films and an overabundance hurt the next 3, the balance between practical and special effects in The Force Awakens feels near perfect. This movie hit the box office with $2.07 billion. Number 3. Titanic. This can never get old. A movie worth $2.15 billion, and even after almost 20 years its theatrical debut, James Cameron's blockbuster epic is still so ubiquitous in the pop culture zeitgeist, its filmmaking marvels are drowned out by the young Kate and Leo nostalgia and that damn Celine Dion caterwaul, not to mention the now late James Horner's iconic score. Cameron's ear for dialogue may be woefully leaden, but he's a shrewd storyteller, plunking a Romeo and Juliet redux aboard the doomed ocean liner and flanking the fictional romance with historical details, groundbreaking special effects, and jaw-dropping visuals. Number 2. Avatar. It makes sense that Avatar is the second highest grossing movie ever made. Irony and insincerity have no place in its extended universe. Whether or not James Cameron intended to crib the world of Pandora and its futuristic inhabitants from practically every fantastical your text ever conceived, it hardly matters, because Avatar is a modern myth-making at its foundation. Cameron still seems to believe that the movies can give audiences a transformative experience, so every sinew of his films bear the Herculean story of truly genius world building, telling the simple story of Jake Sully, Sam Worthington, and his dances with wolves like saving of the Na'vi natives to the planet of Pandora from the destructive forces of colonialism. With that said, it marks $2.79 billion at the box office. Number 1. Avengers Endgame. Where does one begin? When it comes to Avengers Endgame, that question is not so much an expression of wanton enthusiasm as a practical challenge in evaluating the destination toward which Kevin Feige and company have been steering the story and viewer alike for the past 11 years and 21 films. Though there have been plenty of 3-hour-plus movies and even a few 20-plus entry movie franchises, there's really nothing to compare with what Disney and Marvel Studios have pulled off, either in terms of size, quality, and consistency of cast, a moment of silence for Edward Norton and Terrence Howard, or in how narrow the chronological window, all things considered, those movies were produced. Though we've often praised it, casting remains the cornerstone of the MCU. Whether by pitch-perfect distillations of decades-old comic book characters Captain America, Thor, Spider-Man, or charisma-fueled reinventions of same Iron Man, Ant-Man, Star-Lord, the MCU's batting average in terms of casting is not only practically obscene, it's a crucial ingredient in ensuring the thematic and emotional payoff and box office payday of Endgame. It is marked as the highest grossing movie worth $2.796 billion. So, these were the top 10 highest grossing movies. Which one are you watching tonight? Also, what did you think about this video? Let us know in the comment section, and don't forget to drop your suggestions for our next video. We would be happy to know it. If you like this video, then don't forget to hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the top 10s, and hit the bell icon to get notified first. Also, share this video with your friends and family. See you soon in the next video. Till then, take care and stay safe.